Okay. Greetings, my excellent friends. Pardon me. GM Rufus here with Jake from Wisdom Check, and we are here to playtest a Level 0 campaign, in which Jake will play a commoner at the start of his class training.
I am a commoner.
This first game will follow the choosing of a background from a list of 3 options. For the purposes of playtesting, your character will be a jack of all trades. He'll be able to sample from multiple backgrounds as the sessions go on. Your character's name is Jake, and bears an uncanny resemblance to yourself as a young adult.
So charisma's like 4?
You'll be able to place your charisma score or whatever scores you want, however you want. He's as much like you as you want him to be, or as different from you as you want, but it's up to you to shepherd him along. Jake was born and raised in a small village on the island of Kortos. Having just come of age, he sold all he had for a ticket to Otari on board a merchant vessel. Jake wears a plain shirt and pants and worn leather boots, a belt of rope, and a small leather pouch with an apple inside from the voyage. We begin as Jake steps off the boarding plank down onto the dock. Your quest: go to the Rowdy Rockfish and check the employment board. Choose one job opening and secure gainful employment. Do this, and you will receive an ability increase as well as training in one skill.
I definitely want a job because I only have an apple.
Yeah, you're going to need more than an apple to get by in this world, I'm afraid. As nice as a good apple is.
I should probably mention to you, it looks like your video is really blurry for some reason.
Really blurry, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I look clear on my thing here, but...
Storm, are you looking on YouTube? Yeah. Okay. Maybe it's just my connection. She's checking an objective perspective.
Thank you very much, Storm. As for hero points, you begin with 3 hero points, which can also be used to add a +5 to any d20 roll.
He looks fine on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Apparently it's my connection. You look fine on YouTube.
All right, then.
I'm opening the maps you gave me.
I wish I could go blurry on command. That'd be very useful.
Especially in, real life, especially for robbing banks.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I'm in Otari, and I am a typical player at this point, so where the hell am I going?
Okay. You are on the docks, and from the docks, you can see the Rowdy Rockfish, which is number 17.
Okay.
It is a largish structure. It's an inn, tavern, restaurant.
And I have no money whatsoever.
None.
All right. Great. So I look terrified. Because, okay, I've done the mission. I've gotten here. Now what do I do?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm being overly gregarious with everybody who passes by. Like saying, "Hi, how's it going? I like those boots. Did you get those boots here? These are great boots."
Some people take it kindly, and some give you just a look and put their eyes back to where they were.
I've gotten a lot of those looks in my life.
I'm afraid they exist in the fantasy world, too.
Okay, so I am... What the hell is 12? It looks colorful. Okay, so, as I'm leaving the docks, I am naturally curious, and I'm probably just mindlessly wandering toward the market. And I guess I'll probably get to where I'm supposed to be going. It's just pretty
Sure.
shiny things distract me.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot
And
to
there's
see here.
motion.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's the biggest place you've ever been, by far. There are mostly of what you see are actually a lot of lumberjacks and fishermen coming and going in one form or another. Lumber being the key form of trade here.
Okay.
There is a lumber mill that you can hear. Everyone can hear. There's sort of the buzzing of the saws off in the distance that can kind of be heard throughout the town most of the day. It's running pretty much from the morning the rooster crows down to where one of the temple bells rings, and that signals the end of the day.
Okay, well, the wood smell would help counteract the fishy smell, so that's
Oh,
good.
yeah, it kind of does. There are other people who come and go, too. There are some merchants and just people who have money and a stake in the place who are just coming and going. One of the most interesting things that you see, probably the most unusual, is that there are a fair amount of riding birds that are coming and going with people on them. And they resemble all sorts of different types of birds, from small robins that are ridden by halflings. These robin riding birds are 3 or 4 feet tall, and some get rather large to be the size of like 6 to 8 feet tall if they're something like what they look like a blue jay or possibly a cardinal. But there's all sorts of different types, even some that look like chickens and roosters.
This is so weird. Okay. I was expecting like ostrich or cassowary, not a robin.
Oh, there are things like that too, but around here, those are the types of riding birds.
I put my back to a wall near the market where there was a building, and I just like stare at one of the riding birds for a while. I'm just curious because like, does it just walk or does it fly? Can you fly on these things? 'Cause it's amazing. Then I want one.
Some can fly. Most are flightless or can only fly to a limited height for a very limited time.
Okay.
But,
like every Disney movie, when somebody goes to a new town, I have a huge grin on my face and I'm just looking everywhere, starstruck. I go through the market, just sort of like mindlessly going to whatever smells good or looks interesting in different stalls, and then eventually make my way across the bridge.
All right. You do so and pick up dozens of different smells as different types of fish and seafood of all sorts are being prepared and are prepared throughout the day. You make it across the bridge, and it's just down the street, and it would be hooking to your left. It would be the Rowdy Rockfish.
At this point, I excitedly run because I am young and that is what people do.
Indeed. You get to what is clearly a large wooden front door. Does not appear to be locked. There is a handle on the front with a little thumb latch.
The town that I come from, are there public establishments? How small is this place?
This is probably one of the bigger buildings that you've ever seen. This is bigger, like you came from a village, like a small village. So there'd maybe be a few largish structures, but even they wouldn't be more than a couple of stories.
Okay, then not knowing etiquette, I open the door just slightly and peek in, like, is anybody getting pissed off?
You peek in, and from what you see, it's actually a nice-looking establishment, and doesn't appear to be all that rowdy. There are people, everyone seems to be well-dressed. There's only a few people here and there, but no one seems to, like, look strangely or anything at you. They're engaged in their own conversations. Some drinking at the bar, some sitting at tables by the window, and there's a corner area where there are books and some what look like newspapers where a couple people are reading. And there seems to be some sort of a front desk that's not too far from where you're standing.
Okay. I go over to the desk timidly and I go, "Excuse me, I'm looking for work." Like, I might not even be heard.
Sure.
And so I just keep repeating it at the same volume.
There's a female dwarf who doesn't hear you at first, but then the second time around does. And looks over at you, looks you up and down, and asks you what kind of experience you have. You basically have none.
I was just kind of remembering what I was skilled at as a kid, and pretty much just like doing dishes, maybe.
Right, sure.
I'm like, whatever you want. I can clean up after other people.
She gives a nod and says, right now there are only 3 people in town who are looking for someone such as yourself, someone basically untrained.
I'm willing to learn anything.
Well, she says, go take a look at the employment board. She gestures over to it. It's just a little ways over there. And let her know what you'd like to do, and she will put you in contact with the right people.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, I'll go do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I happily trot on over to the message board.
You are literate, and you can also swim, being raised on an island. So
I did not think of literacy. Yes, that's a good thing.
Yeah. There are 3 employment opportunities. First being for a lumberjack for Otari Lumber, which is the local mill. Second being a deckhand for Captain Mortimer's Lady Luck, whatever that means. The third being an acolyte for Maester Kelvin of the Sarenrae Temple, which is a local goodly temple that is also a library.
I'm sorry, an acolyte under who in the Sarenrae Temple?
Maester Kelvin.
Okay, thank you. Mm-hmm. I was just remembering who I actually was as a kid, so I go directly to the Sarenrae Temple, and I have this excitement on my face, and I'm probably skipping through town and maybe bumping into people because I don't notice anybody.
Going for the temple then?
Yes.
All right.
Wow, I was really annoying as a kid.
I wasn't. Not ever. Not to anyone. Nope. That never happened.
The only time I calmed down, I think, was when I was being taught something. Like when I was being taught chess, I learned quickly being excited doesn't help.
No, that does not help in chess, not one bit. Unless it's some kind of weird strategy to throw someone off, then that
like bluffing at poker.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. You head out, and there's a map in the Rowdy Rockfish of Otari. So basically you can reference that at any time to find any place that you want to. But the temple is easy to spot. It's the biggest, I think it's probably the biggest structure in Otari. And is the grandest by far, certainly.
Well, even though it's very clear and obvious where I would be going if I were logical, I quickly panic and get lost.
Right.
And then eventually I probably make my way there. Like I might be like, where's the temple? I'm looking for Meister Kelvin. I want to be an acolyte. Where is it? And everybody's just like, it's right there, man.
You loop around a couple of wrong turns. But yeah, you eventually, there are people who are more than happy to help someone along. So
that's good, because I could easily be taken advantage of. Like, oh, it's in this back alley right there.
right. The Grand Temple, yeah, it's right around here, right around this corner.
It's in that hole.
Yeah. Right. Get in the temple. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I go to the temple and I'm just standing outside, like, what do you call it? A yokel? Just somebody like staring up open mouthed at the temple. And then I reverently, frightenedly go in.
There's a fair amount of people who are coming and going, bringing books in, taking books out, and you step up the grand marbled steps, which are finer than any set of stairs you've ever walked up before, and up to a grand archway. And inside you can see it's mostly wall-to-wall grand shelves of books with those ladders that run along the sides of them, helping people get up to different levels.
It finally hits me that this is also a library, and now I'm sold. Like, I will do anything to get hired here.
Sure.
So I like start tugging on sleeves and being like, "Hey, where's Meister Kelvin? I want to get hired as an acolyte. I'd like to be an acolyte here. I can help you find books. Hold on, I just need to find Meister Kelvin.
Sure.
Kelvin, mother. I don't swear.
That's all right.
That's me.
For swearing in the temple. There's a person, another acolyte who's already a fully trained acolyte, sees that you're asking around, politely comes up to you, and it being a library, people keep their voices down, but asks you to please follow. And the acolyte takes you over to a different section of the library. And there is someone who is dressed as close to an adventurer that you've ever seen. Dressed in, what you'd imagine to be clerical garbs, with belts and pouches, some weapons and trinkets that you don't necessarily understand. And a grand holy symbol of his deity, Saren Ray.
Okay, I'm gonna assume that, like, I'm familiar at least with the major gods of this world.
Oh yeah, you would know. You wouldn't. That's very fundamental knowledge, even if you're not, don't know the entire full histories, in chronological order of the temple and everything that they think is important about that. You still know who the major players are, who all the gods are, and this is considered to be one of the most ancient deities. And she's a goddess of light. I believe she's lawful good, sunlight, the dawn, good things in general, and knowledge especially, as her temple here is a bastion of knowledge.
Okay. I timidly... Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, he sees you approaching as you're being escorted by someone. Yeah.
Okay. And at first, I'm like looking at all of the outfit that he has on and like overwhelmed. And I'm looking at the floor until I get really close. Then I'm like, oh shit, I should look in their eyes. Okay, yeah.
He's a very handsome man. He's a human in his early 30s. Very well built. The kind of guy that ends up being, an adventuring cleric who goes out and deals with things head on. Nasty things most of the time.
Does he look like he's like elderly? Like, does he have silver gray hair, or does he look like middle aged?
He has. He looks like he is starting to gray or silver a bit prematurely, and you can see some stripes and some speckling on the sides of his head.
Okay.
When you deal with the kind of things you deal with, Yeah, you get a few gray hairs early, I believe.
Okay, so I say, I want to be an acolyte.
As
Are you Mr. Kilvin?
he says that he is, and politely asks your name.
I guess I could say any name. I'll just say my own name. Screw it.
Sure.
Jake.
He waits as if waiting for a last name, but not everyone has a last name, and often in villages you don't get a last name. So he just waits, and after the pause, he nods politely and says, well, Jake, I am indeed looking to take on an acolyte.
I can read. I can shelf things. I love reading to other people. What can I do? Oh, and also I've haven't known a lot about Saren Ray, but I definitely worship her.
Smiles and says, well, Jake, why don't you and I take a walk through town? I have some questions I'd like to ask you before I make my decision.
Sure, great. This is a really interesting town. I've loved all the sights and sounds. There's so many smells in the market.
Indeed there are, he says. He asks if you've eaten.
No, I have an apple.
Smirks and says, we'll get something to eat then as we go. And two of you head out, and he begins asking you questions that are lead into personal questions, and just trying to gauge the kind of person that you are while being polite about it. Needs to make sure that, basically, that he's not going to be wasting his time with you, and that you are indeed passionate and will stick around for the training, which you seem to definitely be. Just giving off that energy. So,
and I don't know if this matters, but I basically helped raise my cousins, so I am really familiar with translating to kids and helping watch kids, and I am also an avid collector of random things, so I love organizing things.
I think you're going to like where this goes then. All right. So he walks along and makes sure that that the path that you take is able to pick up some food, which he pays for, and you get to have some very fine food that is being freshly made there, which would normally be fairly expensive, but it doesn't seem to faze him one bit. And he gets some for himself, some for you, and continue on walking and talking as you eat.
Okay, then I'm probably not familiar with it, so I just go, this is weird. I mean, I think it's good, but it's so weird. Where is this from? I guess it doesn't matter. And I just shove it in my mouth.
Sure.
Yes, I babble a lot.
It's from the finest fisher folk in Otari.
And I'm like, is this squid? I've heard of squid. Is this squid?
It is indeed squid.
Neat.
Very good for you.
I am overzealously chewing with my mouth open.
Well, you walk up and down the streets. It's not like you walk up and down every single street, but he takes you around town, and as you walk and talk, he'll gesture here and there about historical fact about the town, and you absorb a little bit of local knowledge here and there, which you may call upon as a recall knowledge or lore or something later if you want to, if it comes up. But eventually, you make your way back to the temple.
Okay.
One moment, please.
I realized that I would probably brag that I know how to play chess, because that seems like the most adulty thing that I can do.
Well, there are chess boards that are scattered around here and there throughout the library, and there are people who are playing chess. So if you ever want to to have your character do that, that's just fine, or have that be part of something.
No, I just think it sounds like I'm intelligent when I tell him, so I'm just telling him.
Sure. Well, he gesture towards the tables and say perhaps when he has a little more time, that the two of you can sit down and play a game.
I probably just go, okay.
Okay, well, he takes you into his what's like an office. It's a large, ornate desk, and covering the walls are trinkets, weapons, and devices of all different kinds. Things you, some things you can tell what they are, and they're just very fancy, possibly magical versions of things, and other things are so strange and ornate, you just have no idea what they are. They're just sitting on a shelf there.
I look at the simplest, most vicious-looking weapons and just fascinated by them, because I'm a kid, and if I've probably read myths or stories about people adventuring, so I'm like, oh, I think that's a morning star.
Yeah, well, he does indeed have a morning star featured prominently, hanging on a plaque. And it does look
Is that
vicious.
because Saren Ray? I say. What'd you say?
And it does look vicious. It's
Oh.
a mean-looking weapon. He says that it's been used in her name and for her glory many a time.
Just out of character for a moment, I actually had one when I was a kid. My dad found one in an empty building he was demolishing.
No way. That's cool.
That's why I was like, Morning Star, I know that one.
Awesome. It's nice you can use that.
And so I go, Morning Star, isn't Saren Ray a Morning Star? Do you use that because of Saren Ray?
He tells you he uses many weapons, but he does favor the Morning Star. He likes the balance, the way it swings.
And it looks really cool.
And it looks really cool.
I'm so helpful.
Super heavy. If you lifted it, it would like fall on the floor. It'd be like, oh, shoot.
Dude, those things are heavy. They're
yeah.
iron.
Yeah, I know. If even if the shaft is wood, it would still be heavy, but they're usually like a solid piece of iron or something. Well, he takes out of his drawer a wooden tablet, and out of another drawer he takes out a holy symbol of Saren Ray that is on a chain. He hands you oh, go ahead.
Is the holy symbol metal or wood? Because I'd have a different response because I'm weird.
Well, what would you like it to be?
I think it depends. What are you doing? No. I know. I love Rufus too. Yeah.
Kitty's being Kitty. You gotta let Kitty be Kitty.
I think that if it were wood, I'd like be impressed by it just because it's a thing that's somebody shaped that they're handing me. But if it were metal, I would just look at it as though it's the biggest treasure in the world and I'm rich.
Well, it can be made of precious metals then, if you'd like.
I'll be like,
it's kind of what I was thinking, and yes, it would be like the kind of thing that could buy and sell your village that you came from just with it.
And this is why it pays to be clergy, kids.
Yeah. Right.
Oh my God, you know what? Get down. Come here. Okay, fine. I'll just take the dice away. I'm glad that these giant ones he can't throw off the desk. All right, so I'm like, did he actually hand it to me, or is he holding it?
He's holding it out right now.
Okay.
First he holds out to hand to you a wooden tablet that has looks like verses carved into it, and he tells you that the first thing that you must learn is, if you are to join him as an acolyte, you must learn the 7th Psalm of Saren Ray, which is a prayer of protection from evil spirits. When recited holding her holy symbol, it has the power to hold most evil spirits at bay. But if the reciter attacks or threatens the spirits, the protection is lost for a full day. A copy of the verses are carved into a small tablet of polished mahogany and filled in with gold leaf. It is a gift to you and worth several gold pieces at least. And that's just the wood tablet.
Okay. And I wasn't thinking of taking notes at first, so I wrote down 7th verse of Saren Ray. Is that what this verse that's written on here is called?
It's called the 7th Psalm of Saren Ray.
Okay.
They're basically 3 verses that you'll need to memorize and be able to recite. And it has to be said perfectly. But as long as you repeat the verse and you're holding the holy symbol, unless it's a very powerful evil spirit, you're going to be safe from any kind of attack from it. Unless you violate that magic by trying to attack the spirit or show the spirit that you're going to be malevolent to it directly, then the power will end. It's defensive only.
I go, is this magic? Or is this Saren Ray?
Yes, he says. And hands you the tablet and then hands you the holy symbol.
I'm like, what do I do with this?
He says you will practice during your free time. But for the rest of the day and for the days ahead, he's instructed you to work in the library, receiving books and putting them back in their place throughout the library. So you will become very familiar with all the different sections and different types of books that are there. There's basically different drop-off boxes, and you'll be expected to go from one drop-off box to another, picking up the books, checking them in, and putting them back in their place. You will receive the small but steady payment and a place to sleep, a room in the Acolyte's Tower. There's a spiral staircase that goes up, and there are a number of rooms along that staircase, and one of them is now yours.
Whoa, like a whole room? Okay. As soon as he hands me the...
It's not that big.
It doesn't matter.
It's an Acolyte's room, but for you it would be impressive, yeah. It's like a Hogwarts room or something.
If I remember correctly, the term cell that we use in science was originally from a monk's chamber. They called it a cell.
Okay.
So I'm in my cell.
Yeah, you're in your cell.
So as soon as I realize now what's happening, so I'm holding the holy symbol, and I'm like, this is really expensive. I look super scared that I'm gonna damage the damn thing. Like I'm holding it really carefully.
You probably couldn't, even if you tried, from where you are right now, damage that thing.
No, but I can lose it.
Well, there's a chain on it. You can wear it around your neck.
Cool.
Like a necklace, and
I totally do.
Yeah. Although, if you want it, you do have to hold it out in one hand as you're reciting for it, to have the protective effect.
Okay. Now, I don't know how much my own real life experiences would carry over, but when I was a kid, I went to a private Catholic school. So at first, I might wrap the chain around my hand, like I've seen people do
Sure.
when they're
Yeah.
praying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he takes me to the room first. No, he shows me around how I'm going to be working and checking things in, right?
Right. And then he'll show you to your room, and he will check in on you, and for 1 hour per day for the next few days at least. He will see you in his office, talk about how you're doing, and start telling you information that is pertinent to kind of things you'll be needing to assist him with as your training goes on. Right now, you're kind of just working. It's the most basic of basic stuff. But eventually, he expects you to be going out into the world with him and assisting him on his adventures.
Okay, I'm very attentive and polite, and I am curious and interested in everything, and it looks like I'm excited about everything. And as soon as I'm actually in the room by myself at some point, I just scream that it's awesome.
You get a shh from someone in the library down below. But no one knows exactly where it came from.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Don't inhale laughter. Okay, so when I go about doing the checking in and organizing and stuff, I'm super paranoid about doing it wrong. So I keep asking every other acolyte around me or priest or whoever works there, am I doing this right? Is this right?
Well, go ahead and roll 1d20, DC 8.
11.
That beats an 8. That's how I learned it. And so, yes, indeed, you in fact excel, and you get some nods of approval of some of the people who are clearly older and more experienced, been there for a long time, and you are able to successfully keep the little book drop-off areas clear and keep them from stacking up too high, which is something the staff really doesn't like. And in doing so, you become much more familiar with the library, the different sections, and you see a variety of books and topics that you'd never even considered or heard of in your life.
Okay, and my base nature is that I keep sucking up to everyone because I want everybody to be happy with me.
Sure.
I try to help extra, and I compliment people, and I ask, is this the right thing to do? I noticed that you do it really well. Can you show me? That kind of thing.
As long as you do it with a not too high above a whisper, they are very friendly and happy to help, and happy to take compliments as well.
Cool.
So you do this for several days, and start getting used to it. After the third day, the maester calls you into his office and wishes to test you on the recital of the seventh psalm of Saren Ray.
All right, so here's how I was a dork when I was a kid. So all of the fantasy novels that I read that had magical words in it, I wrote them down in a separate tablet, and I called it my spell book, and I memorized all the spells and what they were supposed to do. So I guess I'm obsessive about memorizing things. So if it's me in the game, I have it down.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Since it's something that your character would put so much time and effort into, we'll make the DC lower because that time and effort has been put into it. So we will say DC of 7. Roll D20 to recite correctly.
Come on, 1. I just want to be really nervous and fail. Oh, 15.
You bring a tear to his eye. It's so perfectly recited. You recite the verse perfectly.
I would be super gleeful afterwards, like I know I did a good job.
Mm-hmm. And you can see on his face that you're clearly doing above and beyond here, and he's you can tell just from indirectly the things that he says that he's very pleased with your development, and believes that he was right in choosing you to be his acolyte.
I'm your acolyte then?
Yes, he says.
What would be an exclamation that people do? Okay, so I guess I probably just like raise my hands and go, yay!
He reaches out and touches the holy symbol that you've got around your neck, and says, this belongs to you now. This is yours now and forevermore. Take care of it and use it wisely. Use it well.
Are you sure?
He nods. Oh, indeed.
Okay. What do I do? How do I... What else can I do that you want me to do? How can I help more?
Well, he says you can keep doing what you're doing in the library, although you'll be doing it fewer hours, as from now on he'll be having you kind of shadow him as he comes and goes throughout town, interacting with people, interacting with other clergy members and such. It won't be all day, but he will be taking you out of the library here and there. But otherwise, you, as well as other acolytes who are still fully fledged and more experienced, they're still expected to work on the library from time to time. It's very busy, and they need a lot of people to staff it.
Okay, now that I know that, like, I'm safe here, anytime I have, like, lunch hour or rest or, I don't know, Vespers, whatever they call it, I'm, like, reading one of the most interesting books that has come across the desk. I, like, kept track of where it was, and then I check it out myself later, and I'm just reading it on lunch break or whatever.
Yeah, you're absolutely allowed to, and in fact encouraged to. There's a lot to read, more than you could ever hope to read in a lifetime, unfortunately. But there's just so much there.
I feel like I'm Belle in Beauty and the Beast.
Start singing.
I'm like,
right.
Library. I just realized this would have been a great job for me as a kid.
Sure.
Or teenager.
So you continue on, and for the next few days, you start following him around. You don't say much. You're not expected to. You're expected to just kind of observe and see how he interacts with different people, and absorb the comments that he makes just personally. And you're expected to keep all that to yourself. He's trusting you with some of his own thoughts, and will occasionally even ask you what you think about something or other. Just not like he really needs your advice, but it's more like he's testing you to see how you would.
I'm pretty much an echo chamber at this point. I'm trying to memorize and replicate his behavior. I'm like mirroring him constantly.
Sure.
So if he actually wants to know what I really think, he's going to have to pry.
Okay. And he would be savvy enough to realize that, and perhaps on occasion would take the time to pry in deep and to get your true opinion of things. Though he understands this is a major opportunity for that most people don't get, and it seems to be involving things that you're very passionate about. So he takes all that into account.
Okay. I don't know if, I haven't read anything about... Yeah, okay, so I don't know what the anathema. I think it's what it's called. I don't know what the opposite of doing what Saren Ray wants is. I don't remember that list of things, but I'm probably like, I, uh, I, I don't know. I'm probably like I eat too much and I stay in my room too much and read too much by myself.
She's more, I believe, doesn't like evil gods, evil creatures, spirits. Those kinds of things are anathema to her, as I recall. But
Okay.
there's quite a bit that's about her. I don't remember every single aspect of it, and sometimes that stuff can get a little heavy in the reading. So
It's true.
yeah.
It's like reading a holy text.
Yeah, you have to really sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to have to one sentence at a time here. Soak this in. So after another few days, things seem to be more routine. And things that had seemed just insanely exciting and everything. It's like, well, you kind of catch yourself. You're coming and going and thinking about other things now and thinking about the books that you're reading and keeping up on your memorization and recitation of the seventh psalm.
Dude, I mumble to myself constantly. I might annoy the crap out of people because I'm like thinking about everything I've been reading and just like going over it aloud, and I don't realize it.
Well, after a few more days, you you are called out of the library by the maester, and you see that he has a very stern and very serious look on his face, to a degree that you have not personally seen him wear such a look. He's not panicking or anything, but he does look, and kind of gestures for you to follow him.
I look worried, like I'm in trouble. I did something wrong.
You misfiled a tome.
I know. Like, what could I have done wrong? I talked too much in the library, maybe? I don't know.
Now we got to chop your hand off. You get to decide which one, but because we're graceful here.
Because we're graceful. I rolled for diplomacy. Great.
He beckons you to follow him to his office. He has to have a word with you about something that has come up.
Okay. I'm looking at the floor while I'm walking. Like I'm in trouble and I don't even know what I did.
He kind of catches you looking later and says, "Oh, it's nothing you've done, but I will need your assistance."
Oh, great. Okay. And I walk a little closer to him now.
He says, "Don't get too excited. We're going to the graveyard."
Oh, cool. Like, I don't think it was possible for me to not get excited when I was that age.
He says, the grave digger has gone missing, and there have been reports of dark spirits meandering and afloat in the area. They've terrified and even injured some locals, and he's just heard of it from stories of last night. But that's the kind of thing that he needs to nip in the bud. Now, there's nothing around that is so sinister that he would need an army of clerics to assist him with it. But there is evil brewing out there. And whatever's causing it, it is one of his charges is to snuff that out in the name of Saren Ray. He goes into his one of his drawers and in his desk, and pulls out a fairly large and ornate holy symbol, and switches the one that he was just walking around in, and puts this bigger, more impressive one on.
That's a +1 holy symbol.
Right. At least. He then goes over to the wall and takes off of a little display case a small flask, and he hands it out to you and kind of shakes it. Says, "Holy water, very powerful holy water." He's like, "Carry this. Hopefully, you'll have no need of it."
I just realized if I had access to if they had a holy water font where people bless themselves in or whatever, I would have already had some in my room because I collect stuff and I
Sure.
specifically took holy water from the church when I was a kid.
You can have your own little thing of holy water if you want. Then, I mean, you've been getting a little payment, so you can have a little this and that, and that's fine. You've got a free place to sleep, so that's not draining your funds or anything. He could even see and be impressed that you took the initiative to get your own.
That's funny.
But he says that from this particular flask, this was blessed by a cleric more powerful than the maester himself, and even in the hands of a novice, it is still very powerful against certain types of evil spirits.
So, I'm sorry, did he hand this to me?
Yeah. So now you have two.
Okay.
You have one, a regular powered holy water flask, and a super powered holy water flask.
Super power holy water. I love that way of putting it. Okay, then I probably can't always bend his ear when I need to, so I've probably saved up some questions, and one in particular that I would say right now is, well, first of all, I would say, "Thank you." Okay. I look serious, and then suddenly I go, "I meant to ask, can the seventh psalm of Sarenrae be used on an external source? Can I bless you and ask for protection for you?"
He says it emanates only from the reciter. That is how the power was designed.
Okay.
It is meant to keep yourself protected. However, he says, if he gives the order for you to start the prayer or to cease the prayer and to use holy water, you must follow his order unflinchingly and without hesitation. If you do as he says and follow his commands, you will survive whatever is out there. But if you panic or fear grips your heart, he may not be able to save you. This will be the first true test of your abilities to be loyal and effective acolyte.
Okay. And when I was a kid, I read a whole shit ton of supernatural, real account books. And, I learned a whole bunch about ghosts in particular. And, I mean, aliens, Bigfoot, everything. But I probably would say to him, "Okay, I've read the treatise on whatever, on the third stage specters. I can do this. I'm okay."
All right, I am going to send you a couple of images here on Discord. Some very simple map drawings, very simple indeed. I haven't had time to get... I want to eventually have nicer looking maps for these things, but right now I just gotta settle with hand drawn.
It has been weird to me that you draw maps, not because people can't sketch out a rough map of an area, but because you make a real diagram of the place, and everything is sectioned out by foot, and it's all squared, and I don't know anybody personally who's ever done that I know of. It just shows that you have a passion and skill I don't relate to and looks cool.
Well, thank you. To me, this is, I guess, everyone I used to play with growing up, starting out. We would all draw out these things to this sort of degree. So that's really just me carrying on that. I never really thought about it, I guess. I used to do a lot more drawing of different types of things, and now my drawing is mostly just map making and stuff for games. But I used to draw, like, superheroes, monsters, whatever crossed my mind.
Oh, cool.
I've gotten very out of habit of it, and I don't think I could possibly, like, draw someone's face and make it look realistic, like I used to be able to. Like, friends or, girlfriend or whatever, draw a nice picture of her face or something like that. Those days are gone.
Well, you probably relearn fast, though.
If I took the time and effort to, but I just don't know.
I have never related to that skill. The closest was my brother drew a lot of stupid images of this cartoony cat, Bill the cat, and
Okay.
always had its tongue stuck out and was very silly looking. So I've always thought that having the ability to actually draw something is alien. That doesn't make any sense.
I do think about it, wishing that sometimes maybe it is worth the time to go into it. There's so much more you can do. I mean, when I was a kid, it was just pencil or pen and whatever you can do with it. And now there's tablets with all sorts of, it'd take me months to learn all the different features of the amazing things I can do with the stylus now. So, okay. Do you see the maps here that I've sent you?
Yes, and I am zoomed way too far in. Hold on a sec. Yes.
All right. Well, it's meant to depict basically a section of the graveyard where it rises up on an incline and goes up to a cliffside, which then plunges down to the lower part of the town.
That's what that is. Okay.
Yeah. And so there are different tombstones, mausoleums, and such that are dotted throughout. The largest of them is situated near the center and near the top of that image. It's got the X over it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the largest one, and that is where the incident was reported. There was someone who was going in the evening to lay some flowers on a tomb, and they were accosted by specters, fled, but they were very shaken up and had some negative energy sort of tainting them, that they needed to have some purification rituals and some spells to make them right again.
Okay. As soon as we get into the graveyard at all, I'm pretty flighty and curious and interested in everything. So I'm trying to practice like spirit seeing, like I've read about in books, because like maybe everybody can do it, or maybe I'm special.
Sure.
And so I'm like trying to like imagine there are things there, and I'm just staring off into the distance.
The Maester tells you to keep a close eye out. Anything looks unusual or dangerous or just strikes you the wrong way, to alert him immediately, but quietly.
I don't even speak, I just nod.
He starts walking up a pathway. And he's not going quite at full speed. It looks like he's being very cautious as well. And he's holding out a holy symbol that's on a disc, and it doesn't have any kind of chain on it or anything. But he is holding it out forward and kind of passing it around. And it almost looks like he can see something. He can see things that you can't. They're things that are just like catching his attention. but not enough to draw him away. It's possible he's seeing things here that are spirit related but aren't necessarily like evil and ghoulish, but it is a graveyard.
Okay, and of course I'm interested in this, and I focus on places that he looks, and I realize I can't see them, so I just keep looking around for him.
Right. It's just empty space, but sometimes it's like, catches his eye. You get about 50 feet away from the tomb in question. And as he passes the holy symbol across like his front in his field of vision, it's as if there's a light that no one can see lands on a figure, and it is a dark, shadowy, somewhat billowing figure, but it's clearly humanoid and has like burning red eyes, and it is standing about 15 feet in front of the tomb, and it's looking straight at the two of you, and it's just kind of hovering there, floating there, and you can see remnants of what looked like were fairly fine clothing that seemed to be part of the manifestation of this spirit thing, but it's very dark, and the only light is coming from these red eyes, and it's just floating, looking at the two of you. Do you say or do anything?
Yeah, it's a malevolent spirit. And I'm mouthing the words to the psalm.
Very good, very good. The maester stops in his tracks briefly and casts a quick eye at you, looks in your eyes to make sure that you're not freaking out. And when he sees, when he sees that you aren't trembling or pissing yourself or making up an excuse to leave, he looks back at the spirit and calls out in a language you don't understand. The spirit then calls back in the same language, sounds like to you, but again, you don't understand a word of it. Although they do
but now I
seem,
look a little scared.
Yeah, they do seem to be fairly intense in their speaking of it. The dark spirit seems to flare up, and more shadowy wisps start emanating, and his eyes glow brighter. He points one shadowy hand off to the side, to the east of him, where there are two tombstones standing very close together. And written on the tombstones, it's clear that these were husband and wife. And judging from the years written on it, they were very, very old indeed when they passed.
Okay, I'm holding the holy symbol tightly.
After a few moments, you see wisps of sort of a silvery gray spirit vapor as the specters of the husband and wife start to rise almost unwillingly, but still out from their plots and rise up to the surface. And you can see they're still wearing the clothes that they were buried in, so it's very fine attire, but it's eroded just as badly as it would have been over time. So this is like a reflection of their rotting bodies down there that has risen up now, and their faces are completely gaunt, and just two little red beads of eyes glow, and they look over to the dark thing to the dark spirit that summoned them. And their faces look twisted and angry and pained. But he shouts at them in the same language you don't understand. And it's as if they're forced to look over towards the two of you. And with another word from the dark specter, they start floating out towards the two of you. Their hands out, gaunt and gnarled.
Okay. I jump the gun and I start chanting the psalm and I step in front of him.
Okay. I was going to have you roll for it, but your guy's just so into it. I think I'm going to forego that. I believe that he would.
It might have even been the wrong thing to do. I don't know.
No, it's unexpected, but it's great. You step out, start reciting it, and as you do, you feel a strong energy emanating from the holy symbol that you hadn't felt before when you were reciting it, but you weren't reciting it in the presence of, evil things with energy fields and auras that extend out and get this thing firing up. And you start to see there's a light that starts glowing around the edges and gets brighter and brighter as you continue to recite.
I look freaked out at the holy symbol. Oh, and I also would look afraid of the ghost, but also have sympathy until they start attacking.
Sure. They start. They're nearing, and they will be there shortly. The maester looks at you, surprised, but also pleased, and gives you a quick, brief command. Says, "Continue the prayer until I tell you otherwise."
Now I am really loudly saying the prayer as if like over dramatic, like thundering to the heavens.
Sure. You do so, and he tells you to stay exactly where you are. Do not move. Continue the prayer.
Okay. But I'm still young, so I kind of look scared, and I'm looking around a lot, and I might falter words sometimes if something sudden happens.
Roll DC 9 to see if you falter even a little, because he's stepping away from you and leaving you there as two ghosts are coming towards you.
1.
Would you like to re-roll, or...
Oh, I forgot I can do that. Yes, I'd like to re-roll again.
You got 3 re-rolls if you want it, or you can add a 5. Yeah. And you can do them on the same round. It's fine. You can use them all up in one.
How do you like normally when I have like a handful of dice, I jiggle, you roll them in your hand. How do you do that with this? It's weird.
I've got a special system for that. It's just it's in the wrist, but it allows you to
really
kind of roll it around. Yeah, I dropped it a few times.
You have giant hands though, don't you?
I don't know, average-ish.
I've looked at your rings.
Okay, I have bigger.
I got a 15.
15, all right. For a brief moment, there's a feeling inside like you might not be able to do this. And you've been kind of at his heel for, the better part of a week now. And this is the first time, he stepped away for one thing or another. But when he steps away, you feel very much alone in the pit of your stomach. And there are these terrifying spirits that are looming down upon you now. He walks forward, holds up his holy symbol, keeps it pointed at them. They kind of flinch from it, and they do not approach him, but they do approach you. And once they get to you, it looks like they're wanting to, trying to reach out and claw at you, but they can only get so close. So they
My voice sounds terrified and trembling.
Yeah, right. But you don't break it. That's what that roll was for. You continue on speaking, and the light gives you the protection that you need. They slowly start kind of rotating around, counterclockwise, just sinisterly trying to reach out.
It's creepy.
Grab, yeah. Making faces and moaning and shrieking, trying to get you to falter. But you stay there, and they don't.
I might end up shrieking some of the words like I'm yelling back.
That's fine. Yeah, that's awesome.
Mostly out of fear, though.
Right. The maester, you can only see like flashes of what's going on with him because you're kind of focused on what you're doing. But you see a flash of light as his morning star seems to shimmer and emit like dawn rays of the sun. It's very warm, and you can actually feel the warmth of the light. And it swings around, and he seems to be engaged with the dark shadow specter. And they seem to be I don't know if it's taunting, but having some serious words with each other in the language.
Now you go home.
Right, right. You go straight to hell, and he swings. But you are very much occupied with what's going on, and
I am starting to worry though about what I'm gonna do if he falls. Like, do I run to him? Do I run away? I don't know what to do.
yeah, you don't know. You continue on, and they continue to try to get you to flinch, but you do not.
No, I'm actually getting more comfortable with it, and
Yeah.
like, this is just what you do now.
Mm-hmm. This is your job now.
Okay, I'm personally really enjoying this. This is cool.
There is a then you see out of the corner of your eye, like over your over one of your shoulders, you see a flash of movement, and after a moment, you're able to kind of like move yourself and get a better vantage point, a better view, and you see what looks like would have to be the gravedigger because he's holding a shovel. But his skin is completely pale, and he's like lumbering towards you. His eyes don't glow, they're just milky white, and he moves like a zombie. He's about 15 feet away from you and slowly making his way towards you.
I think I would panickedly interrupt what I'm doing, just going, Maester! And like I'm gesturing with the holy symbol, like, look up there.
If you call out to him and break the prayer, you'll lose the protection. And if that's the case, you'll have to switch to the holy water.
That's what I would do. All right.
All right. No, that's what you do. All right. You call out to the Maester. And doing so, the light just goes out of the holy symbol. And you are stuck with two with these two specters that are right on you. And when the light goes down, they start moving in. So if you plan on using, or would you like to use the holy water?
Yes, and I'd probably sink to my
both.
knees.
All right. Oh, cool. All right.
Just a really powerful one.
All right. Take out the really powerful one, pop the stopper off it, and all right. You have 2 attacks.
I'm picturing
make.
chugging it. Sorry.
right. Chug it and then spit it right
This'll
in their
help.
faces. That would work, yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'm sorry. Did you say roll something?
To roll attack, roll a DC 7. On which one? The husband or the wife?
Whichever one happens to be in front of me at the moment because they were running around me.
Okay. Let me roll. Let's do high or low. High is the husband. All right, it's the wife. She's right in front of you as you pull up the stopper, and you can just kind of whip it, and yeah, the water kind of sparkles in the moonlight. And did you roll?
Yeah, I have to use another hero point.
Okay,
I can add
that's what they're
5.
there for. Yeah, you can add 5.
Okay, yeah, I got a 6, so I had to add more.
You might call them plot armor points, but they're essentially
Yes.
there to
Yes.
Yeah. It's a balance. I have complete control over this world, and you have a few points to nudge some things around. So I'm
And I'm
okay
making
with
my
that.
own problems for myself too.
Right,
So.
right. No, but they're great character driven and believable. So I love that. I love how you always stick to that. So yeah, all right. With the hero point, you're able to splash, and the it doesn't take more than a few moments before it's like fire, but like of sunlight, and it just spreads out wherever the droplets strike. And even the tiniest of droplets, as soon as it strikes the specter, just flares up and spreads out like a virus, and just completely consumes the one specter.
I look scared that happened. I'm just standing there going.
The other one, and the other one, the husband howls in a fury and just claws in at you.
This ended up being very Halloween-y. Good job.
'Tis the season, yeah. All right. And he rolls very poorly indeed. You are able to kind of go into a roll, since you said you were down on your knees. You're able to roll out of the way of his claws, or his gnarled hands as they swing at you. But even as you land, you see that the gravedigger with his shovel is lumbering towards you, and will be upon you in a few moments, whether you deal with this guy or not.
That's because he's slowed one, because he's a zombie, for those watching.
So you are able to take another attack with your flask if you wish, which would be a DC of 8.
I definitely would. Like, out of character, I think that I should actually be more afraid of the dude with the shovel, because, like, how do I magically stop a shovel? It's just going to hit me.
Yeah, right.
But I'm focused on the spirit, because it's scarier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was the number I needed?
I thought I said DC 8, didn't I? Well, we'll say DC 8. That's fine.
9.
Hey, there you go. All right. So he looms down over you, and there's no rolling out of the way this time. So you just splash upwards, and the catches on him, and he goes up in a flare of holy light. But it's just a moment after that. You are down on the ground, basically, with your back on the ground, and the gravedigger takes another step forward, and that's all he needs. Raises his shovel, looking like he's gonna drive the shovel end of it down into your head or neck area, possibly straight into your chest. You don't know. He's a big guy.
Great. Yeah, I look terrified, obviously. I'm probably, like, trying to crawl deeper into the ground, and that doesn't really work.
Yeah, you're just like petrified in fear. And I don't know, do you even close your eyes or just stare up at it as he raises up and
personally, when I've been in a moment like that, I don't close my eyes because I'm too terrified. Like, I'm just hyperventilating, staring.
Then we
that's what I do.
Then we see the reflection of the of him in your eyes in the close-up shot, raising it up, and swings it down, but only for the briefest of moments, before you hear the maester's voice call out, again in a language you don't understand, but it freezes the zombie dead in his tracks. And the maester continues to speak in a language you don't understand, continuing to, seems like he may be reciting something that you don't know, but it is keeping the zombie from moving. What do you do?
I'm stunned. I still lay there. I'm probably staring at the zombie's face to see what it's going to do next, and it'll take me a few seconds to realize it's not doing something next.
It looks like it's kind of trying to resist, but it is like it tries to plunge down again, but it can't, and there's magic of the maester keeping it there, which eventually you realize.
Yeah, I would have to get through my fear-addled brain.
Oh, yeah,
they say.
take a few moments because, yeah, you just about had your head chopped off. Yeah.
And then I would probably, yeah, instinctively, I would just like crawl backwards instead of doing the smarter thing, rolling to get up.
Sure.
And of course, I'm hyperventilating still, and I'm looking all around for the maester.
You look around and you see the maester is, we actually hear it too, that he is hustling towards you and gets up to the gravedigger. Looks like he could very easily swing at it with his morning star, but he doesn't. He goes up to it and actually looks like he actually knows the guy or knew the guy, and puts his hand up on his on the gravedigger's shoulder, and almost seems sad about it. Speaks a few final words, and the gravedigger just collapses down into a heap.
Okay. I'm still like only half sitting up, leaning back on my hands, and I just look up at the maester, guilty. Like I fucked up horribly. Do I hear any other, like, do I have awareness that the thing that he was dealing with is still there?
You look around, you don't see it. And
Okay, then I immediately say, I'm sorry.
he says, do not apologize. If anything, I'm glad that you, pleased that you did not flee. There are men twice your age who would have run screaming from what you just encountered, and you stood your ground. Although next time, perhaps have a little more faith in me. He asks.
I would say, I didn't even think about running. I was just scared.
He says, did any of them make contact with you?
I'm looking for wounds. Like, why would there be any? But I'm still looking for them.
Sure.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think so.
He kind of looks you over and kind of opens one of your eyelids to look into your eyes. Kind of nods. Like, okay.
I go,
Right. And he says, then you are untainted by the dark energy. He says, the specter fled before I could destroy it. But
I have holy water. I pull out the other one.
He says, and you used it well.
What do we do?
With that, he kind of gives your shoulder a pat, and he says, the specter has fled, but I do not believe that he is gone. We may have to return to deal with this another time.
I'm sorry if I screwed up. I didn't mean to distract you. And now I stand up if I haven't.
Sure. Now he gives you, he could give you a hand up, since I suppose you're laying on the ground, so, or whatever. So, gives you a hand up, and says that he's going to cordon off the cemetery and make sure that no one can get in there for the time being until this situation has been resolved, so that no more innocent people will be harmed by whatever's going on here.
Okay. What happened? What happened? I don't understand.
He walks up, tells you to follow him, walks up to the tomb, and he has a key that allows him to get inside.
I'm moving really slowly without
Sure.
realizing it.
When he looks inside, pardon me, you're able to see that in the center of the tomb, there's an open patch of floor, and laying in it is a dead body surrounded by some very sinister-looking runes. And it seems to be the same general shape and even of the clothing of what the Dark Spectre, was wearing.
Okay.
And he looks over, it's muttering to himself, considering different possibilities. And he believes that this was some kind of suicide ritual from some type of evil cleric or practitioner. Something that would turn him into a Dark Spectre, which could then control other undead forces in the area. And it's the kind of thing that he can slowly build power over time, and if he were allowed to, he could build a fair amount of power with the undead here and possibly take them into town or elsewhere if he wanted to.
I go, oh, what do we do about it? And I step in. Because I'm foolish.
He tells you that he will begin an investigation, find out who this man was, see if there are others like him, if he was working with others, and understand the situation and hunt him down one way or another and eliminate him.
But what do we do with the... Can we just scrub the floor? What? And I'm pointing at the body with the
you'll
runes.
be scrubbing the floor. You're the acolyte. He says, I don't scrub floors anymore.
Okay.
I did that when I was an acolyte. Now it's your turn. No, he.
Oh no, I can scrub.
Right,
It might
no.
take a while, but I'll
He
scrub.
says there are there are other people whose jobs it is to deal with this sort of a thing, and there are different cleaning rituals and different blessings and stuff to get the taint, basically, of the evil spirits out of there.
Can I watch?
Yes, he says. I suppose he could have you observe, take you out of library work to observe that for a while, if you wish, and that could be part of something that goes into your skill set. I'm sure they'd be happy to have a little bit of help. But that'll be something for the morning. They're not going to have people out here in the middle of the night do the cleaning, so...
Should we use the holy water in the circle?
Right.
I'm trying to be helpful. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Don't waste that holy water on that. That's for very, very dangerous spirits. They have solvents for that.
No, I mean my other one, the one that I had personally.
Oh, your one?
like
Yeah.
crappy.
Well, yeah, sure. It steams a little bit and the room partially disappears.
I look totally impressed.
He goes, And with that, the two of you return to the temple. And that is where we close out this session.
Dude, really interesting. It reminded me of, I don't know if you watched the game of Pirate Borg when I was doing it with the GM Roundtable, but you start off with like between 1 and 10 hit points at most if you're like the most marauder barbarian kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And weapons do 2d4 to 2d6 damage, so you can die in one hit.
Sure.
And so it's not like D&D or Pathfinder 2. It's just like this. Like anything could kill me. No idea. It's very immersive that way. It's cool. I mean, what you did, not Pirate Borg.
Sure. Well, thank you.
You liked it too.
Yeah, you. I'm glad that you got into it, and I wasn't quite sure which one you would choose. I was leaning that you might go towards Acolyte if you were gonna kind of like sort of play yourself, because I know you said you like spell casting and stuff, and that certainly leans more towards that than lumberjacking or being a deckhand. So.
Yeah, and personally, I've studied a lot of religions, and I love books, so it kind of makes sense.
Cool.
It made sense to me, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Will you stop moving the camera? You are not my camera kitty.
Well, thank you for taking the time to play this and to help me play test this out.
This is really interesting. Like, how would you advertise this? Like, if I were to say make a community post or in Discord or something like that, would you say like 0 level character building, or like exploring personality, or choosing your career?
Something to do with backgrounds, I'd guess. Level 0 background selection, maybe.
I like that. Background building, because like
Sure,
you're doing
yeah.
it manually.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. I like that.
Now, normally, initially, I had considered that this would be sort of a jack of all trades things, where you could go and, as part of your acolyte training, you would could potentially go and do other jobs temporarily, and spread the good word and get people to go to the library and live as an example. So if you want to do a jack of all trades things, you can. It'd still be perfectly. There'd be a good in-world reason for why you'd be going out and doing different things. But you don't have to. If you want to just get fully immersed in the background of the acolyte, then we can do the full. There basically be 3 components to it. The next 2 sessions would be filling out the acolyte background. So you can either do that, or you can do the jack of all trades thing and learn a little bit of fighting, learn a little bit of this and that.
If I'm acting as I personally would, then it would just be staying as an acolyte, learning,
Sure.
reading books, that kind of thing. But I think that people watching might benefit more from diversifying. So maybe we should go with the jack of all
Okay.
trades route.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that then.
Okay, yeah.
We'll
that seems
still
best.
he'll still be an acolyte though, so that flavor will continue on and be relevant to things going forward. It's not like we never see him being an acolyte anymore or anything. He'll still be part of the story and would still be a major part of the development of the level 0 advancement.
Okay, that's interesting. That makes sense.
Cool.
Do you write short stories, or have you written fiction? Because this is basically what you're doing. You're writing a little book.
Yeah, I've never published anything, but I don't think I've stopped writing, and I'd have to think. It's been many, many years. It's just something I enjoy, and this is something I can channel it into that other people can enjoy too, because otherwise it's just me looking at my own stuff.
Yeah. Looking at a dead tree and hallucinating.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not that they can't be fun, but after a while,
Well, it's nice to be able to share what you experience and enjoy in the world. It makes it more fun.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like giving it life.
Yeah, that's why I love doing this. Part of it.
Okay, then I'm gonna tweet about this as soon as we're done here, so I can take the YouTube link.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I've kept you for longer than I had planned to.
Oh yeah,
Thank you for sticking with it.
dude, that's just how gaming sessions work.
Sure.
Like, what are you gonna do? Like, okay, so and it moves toward you, and we stop.
Right. Well, there's a lot of good role play there too. Your character was very immersed in everything, and I like that. That's why I put the time and effort into these things, is so you can, really sink your teeth into it. So
It was a really good idea for you to say you could play yourself as that age if you want to, because that is what all of it came from. It was really easy.
Sure. Yeah, no, I thought that was awesome. I wasn't sure how this would play out or anything, but I'm really pleased with how things turned out.
Agreed.
All right. Well, thank you, Jake, for participating in this, and thank you, Storm, for helping out with the technical aspects. And I look forward to doing this again in a month, about-ish, whatever works for you. But cool.
I'd like to do it earlier if possible. I don't mean early in the day. I mean earlier than a month, because, well, it's cool and fun, and then we can have more of like a regular episode kind of thing, so people can tune in more frequently.
No, that'd be great. These things don't take me a terribly long time to put together, and I've got the first 3 already done. So, yeah, we'll figure out on Discord when's a good time, and very low prep for the remainder of this part, anyways. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Sit down and play and be nice and easy. Yeah.
I have a quick question. So this was like choose your own adventure, but did you have like all of the threads going to the graveyard at some point?
No, there would have been very different things happening. You would have gotten a different scenario depending on which one of the backgrounds or one of the employments that you had chosen.
That's interesting.
Yeah. If you choose the lumberjack, you get to work in a stables with one of the riding birds. That's part of it.
That is weird. That's cool, though. I don't think I could keep myself from singing I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay, though.
Well, you can find out in a future game. See how it plays out.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Thank you for the opportunity. It was really fun and interesting to like explore who I would be in this world. And I forgot that I was that annoying. So I learned more about myself doing this.
I'm glad you played it the way you did. It was a lot of fun for me to DM too. To jam.
Cool.
All right. Well, I hope the two of you have a good rest of your evening, and I will see you before long.
Indeed, we shall. Let's shall.
All right. Let's shall.